It becomes the integrating focus of your personality. Is the way you are. Some of us are so driven to accumulate wealth. Some of us are so driven to be accepted by people. Some of us are so driven to have this kind of persona. Some of us are driven by something, and when that becomes the ultimate force in your life, you make those decisions based on that. Idolatry is described in Romans chapter 1. And when I was studying this particular verses and I read Romans chapter 1, it just clicked on me. Romans chapter 1, verse 25, it says, they exchanged the truth about God for a lie and worship and serve the creature. And so for us, when we read Romans, we always think about creatures such as people are worshiping this idol that's half a whale and then on the bottom is some other animal. We think of these statues, or we think of this idolatry that's very in your face, very kind of obvious. But the reality is that Paul is talking about the idea that idolatry is anything that is an over desire in your life. And that's the second question. How do they enslave us? In the Bible, the way we see idols control us, there's a Greek word in the Bible, and it is the word epithemia. And the word means over desire. An over desire. And an over desire in the Bible, sometimes it's translated in our English Bible as lust. And lust does not mean a desire for something evil. Lust, immediately we think about a sexual activity or something that is wrong. But lust, in its literal definition, is an over desire. And so when we talk about idolatry in the Bible, we talk about an over desire for something that is good. Success is good. Money is good. Sex is good. Relationships are good. God created good things. All of those things I just listed are good things that God created for us to enjoy. Now the issue is developing an over desire for them. Replacing the Creator for the created things. The issue is developing an over desire such that they are desire above the Creator Himself. And so that's when we land into idolatry. And so last week I gave two examples, and I'll remind you of one on how these things can enslave us. And as a very practical example, if somebody says, I'm bitter, and I can't seem to get rid of this bitterness in my heart, I'm mad at my parents, or I'm mad at my spouse, or I'm mad at my friend, I'm bitter, I'm mad at my sister, my brother, whatever the case may be. This person has wronged me, this person did this, I've tried to forgive them, and I've tried to get rid of the anger, and it's just killing me inside, it's burning me up, I can't get rid of this bitterness. And so the question is, why is this bitterness consuming you? The biblical advice is not necessarily stop being bitter. It's how to get to the root cause of this bitterness. And Paul tells us that the reason you are bitter, the reason you are enslaved to bitterness, it's not just what the person did to you, even though I'm sure what they did to you was extremely wrong. But when we're dealing with when we're dealing with ourselves, the reason for the bitterness is not just what that person did to you, but what your heart is making of the thing you lost. Your friend, your spouse, your dad, your mom, your sister, your brother, whoever robbed you of something. And when they robbed you of that one thing, that's not the reason you're enslaved. It's because what you lost, what they robbed from you, you feel like you have to have it. And you can never forgive him or her for what you lost. Whether that person stole from you your dignity, your respect, whether that person stole from you, whatever they stole from you, you need to have it. And so this is what Paul is saying. The only reason you ever have a problem loving somebody, the only reason you ever break one of the 10 commandments is because you're breaking commandment 1 and commandment 2.